Thank you, Andrina. I said all that stuff and nobody couldn't hear me. Thank you for that. Let me do this again. I want to thank you guys for coming on the Inspiration in 30. It should work now. Let me tell y'all, I had so many meetings yesterday. I had so many meetings yesterday, and I was in and out of my meetings. And, I would put the microphone on mute, and I can just press my little microphone right here and put it on mute because I was just tired of talking. I was tired of talking yesterday. But I am here. Welcome to the Inspiration in 30. Thank you so much. Um, Today, we're going to talk about how you eliminate your fear. And I want you to get a pen and paper because I did a lot of work yesterday to prepare for this, and I want to be able to make sure that you walk away with something of value so you can start to look at fear a little differently. I know we talk about it all the time, right? We talk about, oh, you need to go ahead and remove your fear, and you need to go ahead and just jump out there and all this stuff. But again, I'm that person that's into the how. How do I start doing that? What are the steps that I can take? Right? And I'm more of the person who says, what tools can I use and what can I practice? So I found this little document online that I really loved because it gave you some like practical steps that you can actually follow. And I said to myself, okay, well, let me just go ahead and share it with you guys because I thought it was very valuable. So one of the things that it mentioned is when you want to eliminate your fear, you have to be able to do three things. You have to define what your fear is, right? You have to imagine your desired reality, where you want to be and where you want to go, right? And you also have to transform your perspective of the fear, which is the thing that I like. That is the actual tool which we would get to. And then you have to execute and act, which we know. See, when we talk about fear and we tell you to run out there, the one of the things that we say is that you got to be able to embrace your fear and go out there and act. But what we also know is that there is layers between that because you are fearful. You are afraid to go out there and act, right? Most of the time we are afraid to jump out there because in our mind we believe that it's not going to work out, right? But I wanted to give you guys something practical that you can use. So I want you to grab a pen and paper because I wrote down a lot of notes and I want you to be able to really get the value you need. So the first thing that we talked about is about defining your fear. What is it that you are afraid of, right? And the way that you do that is you ask yourself these empowering questions. Why? Because your brain thinks and acts in questions. When you ask your brain questions, it gives you the answer, right? So one of the things that the article said is, what is it that I fear? What is it that I fear? And you ask yourself that and you write it down. Well, I'm fearful that it's not going to work out, and I'm fearful that this person is going to reject me. I'm fearful that this person is going to say no. I'm not going to get the house. My business is going to fail. Whatever it is, you have to be able to write that down, right? The next thing that you have to do is what ask yourself, what is this fear preventing me from doing or having? What is this fear preventing me from doing or having? So, if you're saying to yourself, I'm afraid to start that business, right? And you're telling yourself, well, I want to start it, but I'm too afraid because a lot of people say, that it costs a lot of money, and you're gonna have to do all these things, is making me take a step back. You have to be able to ask yourself, what is it preventing you from doing? It's preventing you from living your dream. It's preventing you from having the luxury of freedom. It's preventing you from a whole bunch of stuff. even with your house or whatever it is that you're doing. So when you're sitting down and you are afraid, you have to ask yourself, what am I afraid of? And me being afraid, what is it preventing me from doing? What is it stopping me from doing? The next thing you want to ask yourself is, what will happen if I do nothing? And most of the time, the answer is, ain't shit gonna happen. Right? That's the answer, right? So when you're sitting there and you're asking yourself, what are you afraid of? Right? And then you ask yourself, what is this preventing me from doing? And then you ask yourself, what will happen if I do nothing? That should already start to charge you up. You get what I'm saying? That should already get you to charge you up, because what you're doing is you're taking your fear and you're breaking it down so that you understand just how much you're in your mind, right? You're in your mind and you're not actually living out your true desires. You're allowing that fear to hold you back. But if you know how to break it down for yourself, then you will start to see just how small it is. So let's continue to go through it. So the question is, what will happen if I do nothing? And we know the answer is probably nothing, right? The next thing you want to ask yourself, and I know these are a lot of questions, but this is the process to help you eliminate your fear. What is fear costing me? What is it costing me being fearful, not getting that house? What is it costing me not being fearful as to not being in that relationship or anything that you are afraid of? Ask yourself, and even go deeper. What is it costing me financially? What is it costing me spiritually? What is it costing me emotionally? What is it costing me physically? I'm afraid to go to the doctor. I don't want to go ahead and get that shot. I don't want to do these things. What is it costing you physically by not going to the doctor, by not doing those things? Right? And you got to be able to write that stuff down, because what you are training yourself to do and you're training your mind to see is just how much you're stuck in your head, right? I got some more. I hope you guys are writing this down. I thought this was very good. I did this whole exercise yesterday only because I started to feel a little fearful about, things inside the company, and I had to be able to do my work, right? I had to be able to sit down, not because I was afraid that, things weren't going to happen. I was afraid that things will move too fast. You get it? And afraid of being overwhelmed. But let's get back to it. So the next thing is to imagine, right? The next thing is to imagine. So if you just got here, we're talking about how you eliminate your fear. The first thing that we talked about is how you define your fear. And we went through those questions. And the next thing you want to do is you want to imagine, what will I be able to do or have or achieve if I wasn't afraid? What will I be able to do if I wasn't afraid? I'll be able to live in this beautiful house and be able to have my furniture. I'll be able to have a wonderful relationship with someone who loves me, who cares about me, who wants to be there for me. I'll be able to finally have my dreams and desires come true by having that business. I'll finally be able to have that kind of love that I'm looking for, right? Ask yourself, what will I be able to do or have or achieve if I wasn't afraid? The next thing is, how will things be different once my fear is gone? What are some of the things that you would do? And that's just to get your mind to be playful, right? How will things be different once your fear is gone? Will you be out there, sitting on your porch, drinking your lemonade, listening to your music, right? Calling your friends up, having dinner parties? Will you be driving down the street in that car with the music blasting, playing your old school, loving your life? You know, will you be in your business every day, working, hiring people, changing lives, doing what it is that you love to do? Right? How will things be different once the fear is gone? That's to get you to put yourself in a different state of mind, in a different form of energy, so that you can dream. You get it? The next thing, what am I trying to accomplish? What am I trying to do? What is it that I want to do? And then you go ahead and you write that stuff down. So the first thing you have to do is you have to define your fear. Then you have to imagine what life will be like. The third thing you have to do is shine a light. Now, this is important. I want you guys to write this down because this is where we get stuck. And this is like the meat of the whole thing. This is like the practice, right? Shine a light on your current reality and your past. Shine a light on that. And the reason why you're doing that is because you want to ask yourself, what aspect of this fear do I control? When I'm looking at what I'm afraid of, how much of it do I control? Or is it in the hands of another person? Right? If it's something that you control, it can be fixed. If it's something that's out of your control, there's nothing you can do about it. You got to be able to let it go and let God and have hope, like we talked about yesterday. Right? The other thing is what aspects I don't control, which we already discussed. The next thing is, which I love, write this in big, big, big letters. Are these real or imagined? Are these real or imagined? Everybody knows the answer. All of you guys who are on this live this morning know what the answer is. You say, Gloria, it's me. I'm stuck in my head. The reason why is because, of past things that happened to me, and I'm afraid to, go back there, and I put a wall up and I failed before, and, I looked at my credit score and I didn't, and I feel like I just don't qualify. So I'm not even trying because I'm afraid. Right? That's what we do. So the next thing is, how could I potentially gain control? What is it that I can do to take control of this situation to get rid of my fear? Can I start working on my credit? Can I just take one action step? Can I call someone? The next thing you want to do is ask yourself, how did this fear originate? And then the next question, when did it begin? And the last question, how long has it been around? How did it originate? When did it begin? And how long has it been around? Isn't that where we all get stuck? Because we never ask ourselves that question. We never ask ourselves, how did this happen where I'm afraid to talk to someone? What happened to me? Why am I afraid to go out there and get that property, get that business? What is wrong with me? Is it something that I heard? Is it something that I'm thinking? Is it something that people have told me? Is it something that I experienced as a kid? Is it something my family told me? most of the time, the reason why we have our fears, ladies, and you know this, is because of what is already ingrained in us, what people have told us. It's about who we believe we are. If we don't have that much faith in ourselves, we're not going to really do much, right? But when we are bold and we have faith and we have confidence, oh, we'll run out there and go do anything we want. And if you want an example, wait until it's Friday night and you get your hair done, your nails done, your lashes, and all that stuff, and it's time for you to step out. Girl, please, can't tell you nothing, right? Because you bold, you confident, you ready, the outfit is on point, it makes you feel a certain way, and now you're ready to go sit cute with the legs crossed, okay? Looking for the right person who you saying everybody doesn't deserve your time sipping your champagne, right? But when we're fearful, we draw all that stuff back. And we have to identify, where did that come from, right? How long has it been there? And where did it begin and how long has it been around? Right? And then the next thing you want to do is you want to be able to know your triggers. Write this down. Write this down. You got to know your triggers. When do I feel fear? Under what circumstances? What triggers it? For me, overwhelm triggers my fear. Um, I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else. I know it's overwhelm, stress. It's a big thing for me. Stress triggers my fear. Um, Past experiences triggers my fear, right? But in that, when it happens, right, we got to make sure and make sure and understand what he says is, what is the biggest obstacle standing in my way? And what's the answer to that? Right? What's the biggest obstacle standing in my way? Me. Now, sometimes it might not be you. It might be the bank, the underwriters, the contractors. If you have a business or people, customers, it doesn't matter, right? But most of the time, a lady told me that a fish stinks from the head down. Most of the time, it's you, me, right? Next thing you need to know is what resources you have. What resources that I have that can be valuable to me to take away these fears? What resources do I have? Who can I call? Who is my support team? Who can I sit and listen to? Not everybody, let me tell you. Who can I sit and listen to who can guide me and coach me and help me eliminate this fear and help me make uh, a great decision about my next steps? That's very important. Most of the time, and I'll tell you this, most of the time you want to talk to people who's been where you want to go and they experienced it and they have the knowledge and the wisdom to help you get through it. Not book knowledge. Now, let me tell you that. Not book knowledge. Not something that they read about and, thought it was a great idea and now can turn around and teach you. No, somebody who actually walked through the fire and got scathed up, burnt up, but they made it and they can tell you how to make it. Okay. And transform your perspective. That's the last one. And I want you to write this down because the first question is, does this fear make any sense? Does this fear make any sense? Is what I'm thinking and what I'm fearing doesn't make any sense at all. In our minds, it will in the beginning, because what we do is we point the finger at the other person and we say, you know what? It's their fault. As the reason why I got my guard up. I said to myself, I'm never going to do that again. And once I saw that he was acting the way he was acting, I was like, not doing that, because I just came out of that and I'm not doing this. So it is his fault as to why I act this way. Not true. We know that, right? I don't like being around a whole bunch of people, because when I'm around a whole bunch of people, they act crazy. That's why I stay home alone, and I really don't do anything, and I just sit in my space and be by myself, and I am happy. Not true. Not true. Does any of that fear make sense to you? Knowing that we love relationships, we love love, we love being in love, we love being adventurous, we love being out there. Is anything that you're saying making sense to you? Mm-mm. And the next thing is, how is this fear absolutely crazy? How is this fear absolutely crazy? And the biggest thing you find out is the more you tell the story and the more you tell your friends, you know how you get that little silence thing on the other line? They just be like, I hear what you're saying, but the only thing you did was give me a whole bunch of excuses as to why you're not doing something, right? How is it absolutely crazy? The fear that you're feeling. And the last thing is, what's funny about the fear? What's funny about it? What's funny? I remember when I had tried to go on a date with somebody, and I was just finding everything wrong, only because I was fearful of dating, because I was just like, I don't like internet dating or anything like that. I'm so old school. I have to meet you somewhere, right? Or a friend has to introduce me, or we just happen to talk. And, I'm real old school like that. With everything going on, I am fearful of internet dating. I'd rather stay my old school self, because that works for me. I am out a lot and I work a lot where I'm around people, where I can interact with people all the time. So I'm not cutting myself off from the possibilities. That's just not my channel to find someone that I want to be with, right? And so uh when I actually found someone that I was like, all right, we can go out and eat somewhere. Man, when I tell you I was not ready, I wasn't nervous, but I was just fearful of, getting back into that routine where I had to ask myself, are you really ready right now, or are you okay enjoying your peace? And I didn't really evaluate it, what I was doing, as I was just finding everything wrong with the person. Like, nope, his head too big. I don't want it like that. Ooh, he looked like he snore. Like, I would say all kind of stuff, right? Ugh, he don't, he don't look like he take his clothes to the cleaners. Like, I was saying all kind of things. And what I realized is that I'm enjoying myself, just being me and just being in my own space. Because for so many years I haven't had it, but at the same time, I felt like I needed to get to back to normal in my life, because I always had somebody. Where really, if I looked at it, I was afraid that if I didn't have anybody, then life would not be normal for me. And once I went and faced my fears and who I was, I'm pretty cool right now. And you know what? They come knocking, right? And that's the funny thing about fear. Once you go ahead and recognize how silly it is and you start to live your life, that's when things open up. That's when the adventure starts. That's when all of these things come to you. Like they say, oh, as soon as I get in a relationship, now everybody want to come and call me and say, hey, what you doing? Hey, girl, it's been a long time. Well, that's because you let go of everything else. You let go of that energy of trying to find someone. And now all of the things that are attracted to you is coming. So we got to be able to take a look at our environment and see what is so crazy about our fear. What is funny about it? And why is it holding us back? Right? Because at the end of the day, y'all, when you asking yourself all those questions, and the reason why I did that, because each and every question and each and every step deals with you, you. You didn't hear me talk about somebody else. You didn't hear me say go consult your friends and ask them what they think. No, it is you. So you have to sit with you and ask yourself these questions until you get down to the last question and look at everything and say, what the hell am I afraid of? I just made this whole scenario up in my head. Let me get up and take some action. Let me go get that business license. Let me go ahead and apply for that loan so I can get this house. Because once you walk through the steps and you start to ask yourself the questions, you'll realize just how silly and how unimportant the fear that you hold in and how much is holding you back from living a life you want to live. And it is something that you can just take care of right like that. But because nobody shows you how, we go from one to the other. Conquer your fear by taking action. Well, there's a lot of things in the middle you got to do first because you're not that bold. If you was, you would have did it, right? But you got to be able to take your time with your fear. And over time, it will be easy for you. Okay? So that's my inspiration in 30 for you today, ladies. Also, I have to apologize because we had our live scheduled with Rebecca, the human traffic survivor, and I made a mistake. I forgot to send her the link, and by the time I sent it, it was time to get on, and of course, that was not the right thing to do. So we have it rescheduled. So we're going to reschedule it for another day, hopefully this week. Hopefully it's tomorrow. We'll see. And we'll go ahead and continue with our human traffic awareness. We do have another survivor who came forward, who I can't wait to share her story with you. I mean, it is amazing how these women have come out of this situation and now are doing beautiful things in the community, bringing awareness and helping other people. So please bear with me. It was my fault. I didn't send her the link um, the way I was supposed to. So I'm gonna make that up. Also, Girls Leap Elite. We got 2 more days for the onboarding of the coaches. And I'm telling you, next week we're gonna be on fire. I want each and every one of you to join this membership platform because your life is important. And I guarantee you that if you want to see yourself change and grow, you would want to be a part of this membership. It is not just a membership where you come in and you dip in and out when you want to, right? And just be like, oh, well, I can wait till later and I can do this. Come in with a goal and work that goal all year. What is the first 100 days going to look like for you? That's going to be the first thing we do. What is the first 100 days going to look like for you? And we're going to hold you accountable. What is it that you want to do? I'll tell you this. When you come into the Girls Leap Elite, the LEAP stands for learn, earn, advance, and profit. And we're going to go through all those things, right? But I want you to understand, don't let fear hold you back. Come ready. Come ready to see your life go in a different direction with the help of our coaches, me, and all of my staff. Okay? So we are taking our time with this because we're not trying to be that membership site where you just say, oh, yeah, I got a membership and I like this person, I like this person. No, we're family and we're building a family. And within that family, we help each other, we build each other, we make money with each other, we laugh with each other, we cry with each other, we do all that stuff. And that's what we're creating on a virtual platform and also in person, hopefully by March or April or something like that. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. I love you guys. I gotta go. Hopefully we'll get the things rescheduled and we'll be able to come on live. But you guys enjoy your day. You need anything, send us a message and I'll respond. All right.